does nothing. So it either looks great or it just is like kind of you're defending high ground with a disruptor and you can't really do anything. Like maybe you hit a nice static storm, but even then, static storm alone will not win you a high ground defense. So it's a dicey pick, I'd say.
Does synergize well with the Magnus though. With the team fight, if you can set up, could work. Okay. Razor, the third pick for HellRaisers here. That'll be their second core. Most likely their mid laner.
Yeah, I think looking to have someone there that can look to, not going to outright beat a Magnus. I mean, you should out CS him, but Magnus can still bottle farm, so.
Yeah, that bottle crow shockwave. It's really hard to stop a Magnus from farming. Hard to gank also with the nature of the skewer, fairly elusive.
HellRaisers have nothing in the way of teamfight right now, though. They have to get something like a Tide or a Centaur for their offlane. And if they pick up, I feel like they want to make sure they pick up that hero now. Otherwise, Navi's probably banning out the Tide, which is the better of those teamfight options.
Yeah. Na'Vi dipping into the reserve time here. They've got plenty left to decide what they want to do with this fourth pick. They'll need either the Funnick hero or their next support. Still a lot of support options here. I'm trying to think of what Na'Vi have been prioritizing recently outside of kind of the classics, you know, your Venge, your Wisp, your Lion, that kind of stuff.
I could even see this being like a Chen Enchantress type game. Not a common Go Black pick, but he does run Chen every now and then.
It could also be an Abaddon that he's considering. Hero that he does like to go to. Would make it a pretty heavy melee lineup.
There's no big kind of like spells to dispel with the Aphotic Shield just yet, but it's something which they are going to go for. So,
yeah, maybe hedging their bets a little bit, thinking that HellRaisers need to go for some sort of control with these last picks.
They have no stun. I'm like, you pick up Abaddon against like stuns and stuff like that, but hexes, whatever it may be. But HellRaisers like, no, we don't need stuns.
It's also just in the Na'Vi comfort zone. I mean, that's a hero that Go Black has liked going back patch after patch. So there's the Tide that you had mentioned, and finally some team fight come out for HR.
Yeah.
Maybe worth re-mentioning here, the minor tweak to Anchor Smash in this most recent patch. Doesn't even show up on the tooltip, but the radius decreased from 400 to 375, I believe. So, minor, but it is a change.
Yeah. Small little nerf to the big watermelon.
Yep. Final bans around the corner. Na'Vi take out the Ancient Apparition. Both teams... Okay, yeah, AA. He's also been on the rise. That Midas Aghanims, just very hard to deal with. And that's another offlaner I forgot about. The Funnick Clinks. Hard to forget about that one.
It's a good hero to create space with here. Broodmother still the pull, though, if Na'Vi want to go something kind of out of the box here. Funnick's played 1 or 2 games of the Brood, and one game where he went for like the no spiraling build because he was against an Axe, I want to say. Didn't go too well. I think there was another game, though, where the Brood pick did work for him. So just the Tide as far as heroes to deal with the Brood, but I mean, it's not really the first thing that I feel like comes to mind for Na'Vi.
I think Bat Rider is what comes to mind for me.
Yeah, absolutely.
For no reason other than it's a hero that Funnick really shines on, and if it's left in the draft like this, Na'Vi have a tendency to pick it up. I wouldn't say it's particularly good here. HellRaisers already have the Vengeful Spirit, who is very good against the Bat Rider, but that doesn't mean Bat Rider can't still make his presence known. And okay, they'll take a totally different approach and grab the Weaver.
Okay. There's a few heroes that could keep it in place. You got Slack with the Pounce. You can't go on Shikuchi out of that one, so... Still, in general, though, a pretty good Weaver game. And there we go. Rubik Venge. This support duo, if this is an off-lane Weaver, it's going to be a bit rough for him, but as far as actually leeching XP and farm, need kind of sentry detection. You've got chain stun from Rubik Venge. You've got a Pounce to lock him in place as well. This is just a tough game for off-lane Weaver.
Yeah.
Prepare for battle.
And speed. I don't know if that was Dakota or someone else messing with me here, but all right. Shout out to Dulat. Not sure who that is, but they're shouting him out. Okay, and the crowd seems to really be excited.
All right.
It's a Ukrainian thing, I guess.
Yeah.
So, okay, HR on the Radiant side. Na'Vi will start on the die. Remember, folks, it's all best of 3 in our opening day of the Starladder Season 11 LAN Finals here. Looks like it will be a defensive tri-lane for HR out of the gate. Artez will take the Slark in the safe lane. Dread on the Vengeful Spirit. That'll be their stand-in here. Solo, tagged up as a bunch of numbers. He's on the Rubik mid lane. That puts Appaninje on the Razor. And our buddy, Gorietz, on the Tidehunter off lane.
Wow, I'm glad you did that team. On the Na'Vi side, we're going to see Abaddon in the hands of Go Black in the well, currently off-lane position. Funnick going to be on the Weaver, double ringer protecting for him. Mid lane is going to be Dendi on the Magnus. And up top, we've got Vengsker on the Disruptor, laning with Havost on the Troll Warlord for the Ukrainian squad.
Yeah, we didn't really mention in the draft the natural synergy between the Weaver and the Abaddon combo that was popular a few patches ago. Don't see it as much now, but the nature of the Aphotic Shield on the Weaver lets him get a little more aggressive, man up on towers, and kind of find kills he otherwise wouldn't in that laning phase, as it seems Na'Vi will go for a 2-1-2 as Abaddon heads back to the bottom.
Yeah, this Weaver Abaddon lane versus Tri lane is, I would say, kind of a 50-50 matchup. It's going to come down to who plays it better as far as positioning goes, timing of spell usage. They can definitely kill the Weaver if Abaddon is ever too far away to shield him in time. If Abaddon uses his shield too early, it's such that they can throw the stuns on the Weaver after the shield. This is not a lane which, I mean, it essentially goes either way, I feel. It's going to come down to who plays it better.
It's all about execution, absolutely right. And obviously, if Na'Vi can win a 2v3 or at least break even, that will bode well for their other lanes. As up top, they should be able to zone the Tide out pretty effectively. Vanscore getting aggressive already. He goes for the Thunder Strike level 1. It's a lot of damage. Gordiet, just barely lives. Forced to use the salve already, but Tide off to a rocky start.
Yeah, and this offlane is not going to be good for a Tide. There's a dual lane which can really punish him, and then I feel for HellRaisers, so they can make it up for it bottom. As far as the bottom lane goes, they've got the pull camp available, which I think is going to make this Abaddon Weaver lane kind of struggle. Yeah. Your Abaddon wants to get some levels, his spell skill pretty well. Weaver as well. Could just be on a low-level Shukuchi for a long time, and
that'll be a first blood up top.
Na'Vi.
Thought he might have learned his lesson before, but we'll go in a bit too deep. Funnick now in the in the off lane, in some trouble, gets telekinesis back. A ward comes down, but GoBlack's there with the shield, and Funnick will live, but a close call for the Weaver.
Yeah.
All right, still getting used to this setup here, folks. Bear with me. New computer, new keyboard, and it's always a struggle out of the gate, gods.
That's all right. It happens to the best of us.
Where's my Black Widow and Death Adder? I gotta start getting that in the contracts. I demand a Death Adder mouse, or I cannot do ops. Down bottom, Artez looking for a pounce on a Funnick, but won't find it. And Solo gets high grounded here.
Oh my.
Or a GoBlack rather, by Solo.
He's got the TP scroll. That's the good news.
Yeah.
That's such a cheeky spot, because if you just go to check that bottom room, Rubik on the high ground can get you stuck on that cliff from the high ground. You don't even see it coming unless you've got ward vision. So really cheeky play coming out from, well, none other than Solo himself. Yeah. I feel like I've seen him do this countless times before in Rubik. This is like his go-to support.
Yep. A lot of good Rubik players here. Dread, as we mentioned in the pregame, playing a lot of Rubik recently, but taking helm on the Venge this go-around. Looking at farming here, Havost off to the races. The last hit leader in the Dire safe lane, 14-5 already. Slark actually struggling in terms of CS, only 7 up on him in the first couple minutes of gameplay here. Not quite getting that free farm that he's hoping for, as creeps now shove into the tower.
Yep, mid lane, they're just going to haste her, and is getting aggressive on Alpha Ninja, but for now they're just kind of trading farm. 7 CS on Dendi's mag to the 12-10 of Alpha Ninja. A Razor-favored matchup, but Dendi getting enough out of this lane that he's going to be pretty happy.
Yeah, I'll have to continue bottle crowing here, but Shockwave makes his life just a bit easier. So, pretty quiet early on. How's Funnick faring in this off lane? Surprisingly well, almost as good as the Slark. 6 last hits on him compared to the 9 of Artez. So far, this dual off lane seems to be going decently well for Na'Vi. Funnick really buffing up that armor. Look at this, Basilius and a Ring of Protection up to 7 armor.
Yeah, a lot of this lane's killing potential is actually physical damage. They've got Chain Disable with Lift, Magic Missile, and Pounce, but it's to keep the hero in place so you can right-click him down. So having all this bonus armor actually gives Funnick a ton of survivability.
Yeah, and it kind of counteracts that wave, and oh my gosh, Gordiets again up top, just underestimating the damage they can put out. Looks like Disruptor leveling up the Glimpse and securing a kill there.
You give up 1 kill and it quickly snowballs out of control. Havos gets phase boots, and then it goes to shit from there.
Yeah, and this is where Tidehunter is in our rocky situation. Only level 2, can't really look towards Ancients, can't really look towards the jungle, no stacks here anyhow. And what do you do when you're a Tide this far behind this early on?
You go jungle maybe, I don't know. You haven't really, I guess he now hits level 3 at least, so.
That helps, but rough. And,
yikes.
You know, of course, Havost getting those kills, adding to his farm, but he is basically uncontested. I mean, 30 CS in 4 minutes. This is pretty impressive from the Dire 1 position.
Yeah, for HellRaisers, the other 2 lanes are going okay for them, but it's definitely not the position you would expect your offlane to be in. You're not expecting Troll to free farm and get these kills. He's going to have a Ring of Backbler coming out soon, so you can expect maybe a tier 1 tower push. with any kind of a rotation, and Weaver's got enough out of this offlane that soon you can leave Funnick to maybe even solo. If he picks up like a Belt of Giant Strength for some extra HP, Abaddon doesn't have to stay here. He can rotate top, have a TP for any kind of dives that may happen, but he could look to even push down that top tower with the Troll.
Abaddon getting some good experience here. Finds level 3, gets that next point in Miscoil. Looks like mid lane we could see a rotation. Solo on the Rubik. Rotating through. Dendi not yet level 6. And does not have enough mana for a skewer, so this could be a good time to try and set up a gank. Though it looks like the bottle will be right back, so, well, say goodbye to that opportunity. Solo not looking to be aggressive anyhow. Just gets a ward down, get a little vision here into this mid lane, and yeah.
Yep. Same thing from Dendi happens, though. He gets a ward delivered to himself, just puts it on the high ground cliff, and we'll use that to get that across river vision to help protect him.
And down bottom, Vengeful Spirit gets picked off as we're looking at wards, man. Not batting 1,000 today, gods. 3-0 for Na'Vi. Also 3-0 for us. Jesus Christ.
You know, if we're talking baseball here, you go 0 for 3. It's not a terrible day. Like, I mean, it's obviously a bad day, but that's like a lot of batters go 0 for 3.
Getting warmed up here. Jet lagged. I don't know. How many excuses can we pull out of the book? Phew.
I was stuck.
Can we blame the Starladder HUD? Maybe that's the change that's really boned us here.
Messing with your eyes.
Oh God.
Oh my gosh. We need to get Dakota and Ben back and say, look, you each watch one lane, I watch one lane, and then someone watch the jungle, and then
there you go. Well, here's a victory in the mid. They get a sentry ward down and actually take out that fresh observer that was just placed in the lane. So now Dendi actually gets a pretty big advantage here as he does ding level 6.
And this is where Disruptor just sitting behind. If they can get any kind of a skewer in, RP into skewer is kind of what they're probably looking for, because then they can look to glimpse him back after he tries to escape. So,
yeah,
if he gets in range for an RP, I think Dendi may go for this.
Yeah, absolutely. 2 points in the glimpse, so a lot of range on it.
Yeah,
so quite a few options.
So Dendi just kind of moves forward, sees like, okay, is he going to back off if I run at him? And yes, he does. So it seems Alpha Ninja is going to play defensively. So the only way Dendi can RP is if he skewers in, and that won't allow him to probably get the kill.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good positioning from the Razor here, staying safe. They'd even put another sentry ward down to make sure they have the vision advantage. And yeah, Dendi will just keep farming for now. Bottom lane, Rubik will rotate down. Artez, 24 CS compared to the 23 of Funnick. I would label this offlane for Na'Vi a booming success as we see Vanscore make a movement towards the top.
Yeah, this is...
And just a lane ward.
Yeah, just a ward. The lane isn't pushing out, so they can't really go for this kill. And they've already, as long as Tide's being zoned out, they're kind of job well done. With that said, Tide is level 5.5, almost level 6, so he's still getting a lot out of that offlane.
Yeah, he's definitely made a recovery. Now down bottom, Artez hops onto Funnick. Aphotic Shield is there right away, keeps him topped off. Artez does have his level 6. Go Black not quite there, only 4. He will go down first. Artez with the Shadow Dance stays alive, but Funnick mans up on the Rubik, will find the kill there, and on the other side, Vanscore does make it back to the tower.
He's juking!
Whoa, will Funnick actually find this kill? Oh my gosh. Funnick will finally get the vision he needs, but not going to be able to close the gap. Dread's there with a stun. Artez now initiates. Funnick, very elusive, will Shikuchi away. Not yet 6, so no time lapse to work with. Also, no boots. Going for a greedy hand to Midas opener. Funnick will live.
Ooh, that was some nice plays by the Rubik. Tangoing down a path I haven't seen in those trees and gets himself out of there. Does open up top lane a bit for Havos to do some damage, but HellRaisers get themselves on the board here in this opening game.
Yeah, Tide's still not quite level 6, but I think we'll be able to leech the experience from this tower push, and that will make his life a lot easier. Still rather poor, brown boots only with 800 gold. Still needs a bit before he can find arcanes, but this is a step in the right direction compared to how that lane started.
Yeah. One of the big things, though, that HellRaisers are going to not really be able to deal with is Na'Vi are going to have, I think it's going to be possibly a fast Vlads for Havos. We'll see where it goes, but either way, he's going to be able to take Roshan really early. Ravage up top.
Dread TP's in, Magic Missile, now the blind. Havos will try to TP out, and he might actually make it. RNG will save him. Oh my, knowing the power of the Whirling Axes on that one. The Troll Warlord, ladies and gentlemen.
Well played. Even if they got... I think he could have survived 2 right clicks as well there. So that was like partially RNG, but mostly just smart decision to go for the TP out.
Yeah. Okay, so Hands of Midas coming out of plenty. Artez will grab one on the Slark, and Funnick doesn't have his delivered quite yet, but getting into that territory as he rolls over to 1,500.
All right. So Tide, that first Ravage, you'd like to see like a kill off of that one, but Now you have this top lane kind of open up for Vangscore. Havos can rotate to the jungle. Running these kind of core heroes that can swing to the jungle really helps out your supports. Disruptor can get some farm, can get some levels, and get a lot more out of the map with Troll now just swinging to the jungle.
Yeah, it looks like he will delay the Vlads. Just hanging on to the Morbid Mask and goes for the Aquila up top. Gordiet's in trouble again. Dendy setting it up, uses the RP, and Vangscore will secure the kill with some of that Disruptor damage.
Yep. Nice. They just spot a kill they can get. Dendy even TPing up there just so he can get there with the haste rune. And not much you can do about a mag with a haste rune and a TP. If he sees it kill somewhere on the map, he's going to go for it. The T1 tower being claimed also meant there was no potential for any kind of support rotation to keep that tide alive.
Yeah, Go Black just trying to leech some experience in the mid lane. Once that level 6, we can afford to be a little more aggressive. Now down bottom, Funnick and Artez going at it. It's like Funnick just caught inside of a Pounce Dark Pact, but it's like Hand of Midas Warriors going at it down here. Nobody really has enough damage to kill the other.
So the Na'Vi draft this game, it's much more kind of split farm and split push centric here, I feel, with the Weaver and the Troll. Weaver's not going to, can come to the team fights should they like break out near a tower, but for the most part, Funnick's just going to be looking to be that additional core hero that Na'Vi need to kind of go to the late game and beat a Slark plus Razor duo. So
yeah. So Na'Vi with a very sizable gold lead here. 11 minutes in, they've got about 4,000 gold in their favor. Experience a lot more even, and farming tools are even as well. Just 1 Midas apiece. That's just coming out of Na'Vi, picking up all these kills and getting a lot more out of these lanes. A lot of it goes back to that 2 versus 3 in the bottom, where now we see the Weaver just nipping at the heels of the Slark, only a couple hundred gold behind him.
Yeah, the troll farm is kind of starting to get out of control here, so.
They really needed that kill on Havost up top, and now he's even got some stacks in the jungle to work. It looks like he had a nice double stack here, so his support's opening up some additional efficiency as he now completes the Yasha and closes in on level 10.
Okay, well, for HellRaisers, they
Blitz. Right onto Artez, into a static field, static storm kinetic field. He will get out of it, goes on to Vangscore. He'll try to TP out. It won't happen as Rubik comes in with a faithful. Now Funnick, telekinesis, time lapses back, but there's a sentry ward down. He'll get out of range, goes for the kill on Rubik, gets it there. Now Havost TP's in, finds the kill on Slark, and Na'Vi turn it around for a 1-2.
Ooh, well. They had the right idea there, Na'Vi, with the initial. It's funny, they had the right idea. They kind of missed the static storm kinetic field, but it works out anyways because they rotated in some more heroes. But that could have gone kind of bad for them with Slark not getting properly locked down. Yeah, Gordietz gets an invisibility rune here and a big fatty stack of the Ancients. Looks like at least a 4 stack, and that will give him some much needed recovery farm. Yeah, this is not time to go for an Invis Ravage of any kind. He's happy just to work on that Blink or Mech or whatever it may be.
I want to say it's going to be the Blink Dagger. I think they need that big initiation tool for these team fights.
Yeah, he is the team fight right now. You've got Slark Razor. These heroes, while they may be farming all right, are not going to be able to really initiate or give you any kind of control in the team fight.
And taking out this stack, Gordietz will basically be recovered off this. This puts him halfway to his Blink Dagger and looking pretty good.
All right, well, as things stand, Na'Vi not going for Roshan just yet, and HellRaisers just went and poked ahead, and they're constantly worried about Roshan going down. So for Na'Vi, just having Havos in the jungle off the map is going to force HellRaisers to play differently. Like, they have to constantly have Dread near the Roshan pit using the Wave of Terror. He can't be there alone because he can't contest alone as well. So it's Artez also not really in-lane farming because he's worried about this Roshan going down.
Yeah. Rubik stolen the Shikuchi, so he'll be a little more elusive here. Can give Weaver a taste of his own medicine. Funnick, man, he's got a lot of appendages and plenty of rings to keep him tricked out. Basilius, Ring of Protection, now the Ring of Health. Probably just working on that Lincoln's. Nothing too creative coming out of Funnick, but a very standard opener here.
Yeah, I think considering the single target lockdown that's there with the Rubik and Venge, it's a good choice to go for this.
Yeah. Now, Blink Dagger is up on Dendy, level 9, soon to be 10. And this is where they can start making the plays happen. This is a good window where Tide does not have a blink, Dendy does. Maybe they can find some kills, but that window won't last for long. Tide at 1950, and we'll end up with a reasonably timed Blink Dagger.
Yeah. It's a bit of an awkward stage for Na'Vi to try go for those kills. Like, Havos is jungle farming. He's got a nice little pattern going from camp to camp. You've got Vangscore at top lane. He's got a TP, so he's ready to come kind of rotate and come into a fight, but it seems right now they're happy just farming the jungle and farming top lane on the Vangscore Disruptor and the Troll for Havos.
Yep. You see Solo once again scouting out the Roche pit, putting that Shikuchi to good use, and trying to be a little bit elusive here. Havost goes for a Sanj and Yasha as his first kind of core item after the Ring of Aquila. May see some setup down in the bottom lane. Funnick gets pinged out, but there's been a TP in from Go Black, who does happen to have a double damage rune. No skirmish going to break out.
Yeah, Havos just farming Ancients now, and at this point, it's like it's going to count down to when Na'Vi want to go for a smoke. They can do so now, or they can just wait a few minutes. It's kind of constantly HellRaisers are being kept guessing. If heroes are off the map farming the jungle, farming the Ancients, it's really hard to kind of plan your own movements because you're kind of playing this guessing game as far as where they are on the map. Do we need to go check Roshan? Did they smoke in there? Are they coming to smoke us in our own jungle? The only hero they really see on the map for the last few minutes has been kind of Dendi at mid, and every now and then they'll see Vengskor at top on his Disruptor.
Yeah, Dendi still just continuing to bottle Crow up, staying pretty quiet, farming away in the mid lane. This cap in the net worth, Havos is just farming out of control, 9.2k, and the next highest is the Razor at 5.8, even blowing these Midas carriers just out of the water with how quickly he can clear out the jungle.
The other thing is Dendi has gone for this kind of focus on empower. Bottom lane, they're going to engage. Blink, Ravage. Uh-oh, Goblet gets off the ultimate. Funny. Time-lapse and lifted up. Will be brought down to start things off.
And CP coming in, does get canceled now. TP to the tier 2 tower. Dendi's here. Blink RP ready, but Dendi TPs to his death. Now Havos coming in. Maybe he can help turn it around. Go Black getting focused by Artez. And Havos will get stunned under the tower. This is a deep dive for HR. Havos surviving for now just because of the blind, but it's not enough. He falls. Appaninje survives. And Na'Vi lose 4 for none in this bottom lane disaster.
Yeah, disaster, exactly. I feel like this is what happens when you play. They were out farming HellRaisers for the last 5 minutes, and I think their mentality was, we can just keep out farming them. We don't need to go for a smoke gank, don't need to go for Roshan. We're just farming the jungle, but then you get in this position where you're playing reactionary Dota. HellRaisers, as soon as they hit their timing with the Blink Tide, they're like, great, we got the Blink, let's go take a fight.
Yep.
And Na'Vi are like, oh, they're coming to take a fight. Our plan is now to counter gank, but they didn't coordinate that counter gank at all.
That was just Na'Vi completely underestimating HR. I think when that fight broke out, they did not see them diving into the tier 3 to secure that kill onto Go Black. And you got to coordinate your assault a little bit better than that. Funnick also caught in a very bad position forward. Funnick's also just not in fighting shape right now. Perseverance, Basilius, Belt of Strength. He's not really hitting that hard, and he's still very, very squishy.
Yeah, this is not the island where you want your Weaver to be involved. He's almost the hero you want up in that top lane with the other 4 heroes fighting. If there's one hero you want kind of solo farming and split pushing a lane, it's funny. And that's where I think HellRaisers intentionally took the fight to that bottom lane. They're like, that's the lane where the Weaver is, that's Na'Vi's kind of weakest point right now. If we go gank Havos, even if we kill him, it could take so long such that backup arrives and we get kind of destroyed in the process. But ganking the lane where the Weaver is, you know he's offering no damage in that situation.
Yeah, now Dendi picks up an Ogre Club, making progress towards his BKB and Vengskor. He spent some time farming in the jungle. The Raptors now got a point booster. They grab some dust, and well, they'll have an Aghanims at a pretty decent timing, probably around that 30-minute mark, maybe a little bit before, if Na'Vi can take a few good team fights. Looking at the side of HR, how's their item progression going? Razor, Powered Shred's Drum, and now looks like probably an Ags. Could just be a casual point booster, and there's the big one, the Blink on Rubik. Solo with a good timing on that.
Yeah, there's some nice spells to seal. The RP, the Disruptor ultimate with the Static Storm. And just your bread and butter. Having Shukuchi as often as possible is probably the way to go for this Rubik. If he can ever steal an RP, he's going to go for it, but having Shukuchi in between just gives him a lot of good engagement potential.
And there's the second Blink Dagger out for HR now. Artez will grab it on the Slark in the bottom lane, and perhaps this is where HR look to bring the fight to Na'Vi anytime that Ravage is up. 3 Blink Daggers in their arsenal. They will smoke on Gorietz and Dread as they rotate through the mid.
Well, I think they need to make sure I don't think they want to take it too much towards the bottom lane because they need Razor and Rubik nearby. This 2-hero smoke duo.
It gets scouted out. Tide goes in. There's the Ravage. Swap onto Dendi. Connects on 2. Dendi will go down fast. Now Go Black on the run. Aphotic Shield gets stolen, and it will just be a 1-0. And they do commit a Ravage.
Na'Vi are always just TPing in when the fight's kind of already lost. Like, Vengskor TP's in there and possibly into his own death. Artez!
Artez silenced up, though. Dread has to back out. And the rest of their reinforcements on the way. No kill exchange.
It's not a long TP or anything, but by the time Disruptor TP's in that 2-second window, Dendi's dead. And once that mag's gone, it's already a 5v4. HellRaisers, even though they're committing a Ravage to it, they've got heroes that can consistently fight with something like a Slark Razor. That's where the Slark Razor come in. Your Tide just gets 1 hero kill to start things off, and then you've got then you've got the Slark Razor if you're kind of 2 carries who can take those more drawn-out fights as long as they've got the numbers advantage.
Yeah, Weaver trying to do some split pushing as that engagement was going on, and the tier 2 up top does take some chip damage Funnick starting to find some decent farms, still keeping up with the Slark and coming online a bit. Power treads and now making the steps towards that Lincoln Sphere. Once more, HR scouting out the Roche pit, and they have been on point with this all game. Anytime they find an illusion rune, anything they can shove into the pit, make sure Havost is not up to any sneaky business.
Yeah. Initially, when I saw them keep doing this, I'm like, this isn't the best use of their time because they're constantly checking it. Na'Vi are out farming. That was where Na'Vi actually got about like a 6k gold lead because HellRaisers were like checking Roshan. They weren't really able to do too much.
This.
But
and Na'Vi, no, they take out the ward, but
I guess
Na'Vi feeling safe without Ravage. Yeah, exactly right. So smart read there. HR will not even try to take a fight. Havost will be the one to grab the Aegis.
Okay. They're getting some kind of counter farm in other lanes, but if HellRaisers have to fight around the Ravage long term, that's going to be a problem for them because Na'Vi, probably with an Aegis especially now, will be happy to take more consistent fights.
Rubik in a lot of trouble here. Funnick is in power. That Weaver has his little glowing paws as they get a freebie there on the Rubik.
Yep.
And probably a tower out of it. They will lose their tower up top, so not really a freebie on the Rubik, actually. They have to trade a tier 1 tower, and HR are in a position where they could try to make a defense if they're so inclined, though. They ping out the tier 2 top and will do what little damage they can.
Yeah, it feels like, let's not defend against the Aegis here. Let's just force Na'Vi back first. And HellRaiser in an okay enough position where even if TPs come, they should be able to get out of this if they don't want to take a fight.
And Razor has his Aghanims complete, so now that Eye of the Storm laying into the tower and will force out a glyph from Na'Vi. Havost grabs his BKB off the back of that tower kill bottom, and Na'Vi, they'll just continue pushing themselves with Battle Trance. It's pretty easy. Glyph comes out from HR. They will win the tower race, I believe. Yep. But tower for tower exchange as HR starting to come back to defend. There is a Blink Ravage available. There it is. Ravage on 4. Static Storm comes out right away. Funnick dropped before he can time lapse. Havost in the front lines. And not going to be able to do a hell of a lot. Pops his BKB. Now goes on to Artez. Oh, Dandy with the RP. The skewer end. Here's the turn for Na'Vi. Solo in trouble. He'll fall. Razor the only one to survive. You can hear the crowd going wild for the home court team.
Wow. And that Slark, he's like, I'm in Shadow Dance, I'm invulnerable. But the cleave damage from an empowered Troll Warlord with RP was insane.
Double buyback from HR. They want to make it offensive. They have no clip. They had to use it to try to buy time for that tier 2 tower. They'll lose their T3. And Gorietz without a Ravage can only do so much here. Now Slark has to buy back. That's 3 buybacks off the back end of this fight. Even if Na'Vi back out here, what a net worth swing.
Yeah, and Vengscore may be the one hero to get caught. He's going to go for the TP. They don't mind if Vengscore dies. Ooh. If everyone else get out scot-free, big victory for Na'Vi.
Yeah, HR, they make a hold at their barracks, but 3 buybacks. Ouch. Well, let's take a look at the graph here, and all over the place. The roller coaster is in full swing here, Gods, but Na'Vi right back to where they started. About 6,000 gold in the lead and 3,000 experience.
Yeah, suddenly Funnick has got his ulti orb. They're going to get these. They haven't even got their real core items up. I guess Havost, absolutely, he does. He's got BKB, Surge, and Yasha. The BKB helping out there. But as far as like Weaver goes, Mag, his BKB coming up soon. There's a lot of big items for this Na'Vi side, which are going to be up for this next team fight. The next, I guess they've still got Aegis for 2 minutes. They could go for another push. They could go for another fight.
Yeah, I mean, they know the glyph is down. They may just want to avoid that tier 1 tower mid so that they don't refresh the glyph. It will be HR that choose to be the aggressors, though. Smoke rotation towards the Dire jungle almost gets revealed, actually, as Havost goes into the tier 1 mid. Instead, they'll go up top. They want Funnick, and they may find him. Weaver heads back to lane. He no longer empowered.
Oh, blinked the wrong way, though.
Yeah, this smoke will not end the way HR want, as Na'Vi making some movements. Now it's been scouted out. Sentry ward comes down. They are ready to fight. RP is available. Oh, look at this. Mass TP's out. No way for Funnick to stop it. Smart from HR, but that was a costly smoke.
Yeah, that was good decision-making to just get the hell out of there, and all 3 at once. But the problem was there, Rubik went for the blink in when they kind of knew he was at that small camp, and once his blink is on cooldown, you can't catch up to that Weaver. When he finally did show himself top lane, the blink was cooldown.
Artez trying to split push in the bottom lane. Funnick will come in to defend. Funnick, Lincoln Sphere getting close here. Oh, he has it on the courier. Okay. Yep, so they'll square off and make some space. Uh-oh, who's actually going to win this duel? Funnick on the run as Artez shadow dances. Now Vanscore comes in, glimpse back onto Artez. Silence, no ultimate for him, and he will fall.
Funnick Dota.
Beautifully done. Beautifully done. Knowing the Slark doesn't have the ultimate available, easy pickings for Vanscore.
Yeah. He really baited that Slark in. Slark goes blinking in. Slark probably thought he's just going to be okay even if he doesn't get the kill, but Funnick knew his hero's limits there.
Yeah. So, wow, look at that. 3 ultimate orbs on the Courier. 2 for Funnick and 1 for Havost.
Oh, okay. 2 Havost is almost got Scotty now.
Yeah.
He's going to be so tanky.
2 for Havost, rather. Sorry.
He's going to have some like 2.5k HP when his Scotty gets picked up with BKB Sanjin Yasha. HP armor, unlimited mana pool with this. This is just gives him so much sustain in a team fight.
Yeah, H is going to expire here in just a couple of seconds, and down it goes. Meanwhile, the mid lane man score initiated on his Solo. Hops forward on the Rubik. Na'Vi have some reinforcements. Disruptor goes down first. Go Black with a borrowed time available. Should be okay here. Funnick will TP in, and HR will settle for just a pick on the support.
Yep. They can't really turn that into too much else. They have got Ravage, but it seems they're going to have to go top lane. Artez is going to have to juke it out with Havost a bit.
Yeah. And the blink forward. Now Havost uses the BKB, but Artez with the ultimate available. Havost not going to be able to do too much. Just a BKB TP, and he will live.
Yeah. I think that BKB not... And often you look at that like the BKB not maybe worth it, but...
Well, the heroes in mid were off the map, so thinking they were making a rotation. Dendy thinking about the RP, pump fakes it, and will be all right.
He's turning us around. He's got a haste.
Funnick's on his way in, but there's a Sentry Ward down. Luckily, he's got that Lincoln's, and he'll be okay. Disruptor completes the Aghanims here at the 26-minute mark. A huge item in this upcoming skirmish. Artez gets scouted out by Funnick.
I'm blinking.
Glimpse back into the Static Storm kinetic field. Artez still gets the ultimate off, and he may still survive. Gordiet's coming in. There's the Ravage. Connects on 3, but what can they do with it? Havost, no BKB for 27 seconds as he did BKB TP just moments prior. Dendy comes in, uses the RP, doesn't get a hell of a lot with it. Now pops his BKB, just skewers away, wants the TP home. Solo will follow suit and try to TP out also. Not going to happen as he gets cornered in the tree line. Meanwhile, on the other side of the team fight, Havost isolated and brought down. Now Funnick just trying to survive. And it looks like he will. Dread throws out a magic missile. The Lincoln's is there. Funnick finds the kill. Havost right back in the battle. Ninja glimpsed on back and brought down as Na'Vi take another vastly successful team fight.
These BKBs for Na'Vi just... You look at this lineup, there's a physical damage from Razor and Slark, but these heroes are being dealt with. Slark did not fight at all there. He was so low on HP, he spent the entire fight hiding, trying to heal up with the Shadow Dance regen. And Na'Vi, even though their initiation doesn't get the kill on the Slark, it effectively takes him out of the fight like a Doom or something would, because HellRaisers without the Slark there just couldn't get the kills.
Now this is a little scary, gods. HR do not have any buybacks available. 3 heroes still with it on cooldown for about a minute and a half.
They also have no Ravage.
Others
that to me is the really big issue.
It's a combination of both. Bottom lane of barracks will certainly fall. No glyph available.
Are we looking at mid lane as well? Because I think if Na'Vi want to go for it, they can.
I think they could. Battle Trance is available. Yeah, they're going to do it. All right, so Havost in the front lines here. Solo will try to soften him up a little bit. Razor up in 5. Ravage still a long way away, about 60 seconds, and Gordietz comes in, forces the BKB from Havost. Artez goes around the backside on advanced score, but there's a Static Storm kinetic field. The Slark goes down. Not the way you want to start this fight if you're HR. Ninja in an awkward position, glimpsed back, and Na'Vi will find a double. Now Dendy comes in, skewer onto Drek. Vengeful Spirit falls. It's a 3-0. Now Solo brought back in. Good game is called, and Na'Vi take game 1 in this best-of-3 series.
Well, it started off looking all right for HellRaisers, but once Na'Vi got rolling in the mid game,
wow.
Whew, so many things went wrong with that top lane. Like, well, the Tide just giving up those easy kills. Like, we caught that first attempt on his life where he gets the self, just goes back in the lane, gives up the first blood, and
then dies again after that.
Yeah, there was free farm plus the kills plus the